Hey folks, Denethor here. Before we start the podcast, I just wanted to say I did have a little bit of sound trouble in the beginning of the interview with Greybeard, and I apologize for that profusely. I screwed up my microphone configuration, and I didn't realize it until about 10 minutes into the interview. So I apologize, and I fixed it, but just know that when my voice sounds really weird, it's because I'm a doofus. So I hope you enjoyed the interview. It was really good, and we'll see you in the next one. Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethor, and I am your host. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Monday night in Azeroth, and we have a great show lined up for you. Today, we're going to be introducing a new segment to the show, which is I've done a few interviews already, and I wanted to be able to frame it in a certain way and to be able to ask questions in a way that it was something that I was interested in and that I wanted to find out about. And so the new segment is called Why Do You Game? And I'm going to just start interviewing people and asking them those questions. Why do you game? Why do you podcast? Why do you Twitch stream? Why do you raid? Why do you Mythic Plus? Whatever it is, I want to know. And so the initial segment, or the first segment, the first time we're going to do this, is an interview I had with Greybeard. I sat down with him the second time around. First time did not go very well, so we will we'll get to that in a little bit. But the second time around, we had a good interview, had a good chat, and we'll have that all for you to hear. So we'll do the news and a little bit of what I got up to last week in WoW, but then we'll get straight into the interview. All right. So really quickly, so I can tell you right now, 95% of my time in WoW this past week was done in player housing. So especially after last week's episode, I've been farming old world mats, lumber primarily, but herbs and mines and leather. It's really just about trying to get those old components and figuring out where the best place to farm is. Some of the expansions, I did not do all of my professions the way I wanted to. So Legion is a really good example. I didn't play a whole lot during Legion. I was kind of on and off for the most part, mostly off. But I did level up some trade skill things. But for the most part, yeah, it's unfortunately Legion is one of those. Battle for Azeroth too. Those are both really low on most of my characters. A lot of my characters don't have good trade skills coordination, but yeah, so I've been working on that. My inscription, my blacksmithing, my leatherworking, jewel crafting is like one of the ones I have set. That's my main character's profession is jewel crafting. So, but aside from that, yeah, it's just been trying to get the core set up correctly, going and doing some old content and getting drops. But yeah, I mean, housing has really kind of taken over the game right now. I did play a little bit of Classic. The Warrior is 53, the Druid is 21, and the Paladin is 33. So I'm hoping to get at least two of those characters to 60 before TBC pre-patch. But at the rate I'm going, I'm probably not even going to get one because I keep playing housing stuff. So we'll see if I can just focus in and dial in, at least for the Warrior, those last 7 levels. One of the things that's really frustrating is when you get to a high level in vanilla, but if you don't make it across to 60, then you're stuck in the high level stuff. There's nobody around to do things with you because everyone's in Outland. But if you're 57, 58, you don't quite, I mean, you can go to Outland at that level, but it's going to be tough. So I'm just trying to get there. I'm just trying to get to 60 so I can go. Because once you're 60, if you go to Outland, it doesn't matter how your gear is. You're going to get gear pretty quickly, the quest, and you're going to replace everything. You'll have your clown suit really quickly. So, yeah, my hunter probably won't replace gear for a few levels, but, I mean, if unless you have tier 3 next gear, by the time you're 65, you've pretty much replaced everything. So, yeah, it'll be fun, though. I'm hoping anyway. And the paladin too. We'll see. So what I do is, because I have 2 accounts, if I can't find a group to do something, it's like, oh, I need to run this dungeon and there's no groups going, or I can't get into a group, or I need help with this elite quest. I have 2 accounts, so I just flip flop back and forth between the 2. So for my paladins on the same account as my hunter, so I have to bring my warrior over. So it's just, it's I'd rather get into a group with people, honestly, but if I can't, it's like, well, I'll just bring this character over and he can just pop, pop, pop. It's like it's no different than having a guildie come over and help you. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Not a whole lot going on there. Like I said, it's pretty much just housing and classic, getting ready for TBC pre-patch. So yeah, I mean that's my whole WoW for the week. One of the things that I'm really hoping for with this TBC pre-patch is that it breathes some new life into Classic, because I was looking at the numbers from Ironforge Pro for Miss Pandaria Classic, and it got back up over 100,000 people, or 100,000 characters between raids and arenas, but it's still really low, and a lot of guilds have actually called it quits after Throne of Thunder. They're like, okay, yeah, we're not doing this. So, I mean, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I feel like Miss Pandaria is dying an ugly death, but we'll see how it goes. All we can do is watch and see. Blizzard has been dropping all these teases about what's the future for Classic. I won't get into that in a little bit here, but yeah. Anyway, that's what I did last week. So, like I said, not a whole lot, just Classic and player housing. So there you go. That's the whole bit. All right, we're just going to jump right into the news, and then we'll get into the new segment.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so Blizzard released their 2025 yearbook, and this is a high school style yearbook, complete with your friends signing it. All it's just a social media post, but they did it in a way like it was a high school yearbook, and it includes a lot of information, facts, and figures by the numbers for various Blizzard games: World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, Diablo, and so on. So nothing really of value there unless you're really curious about those numbers. But I mean, I'll put the link to it in the show notes if you want to check it out if you haven't seen it already. I think it might be in the launcher though. But the one thing that was really interesting is that on the page for Classic, they did drop a few hints about Classic Plus. And I'm just, obviously we know that they're doing Classic Plus. Everybody knows that. Blizzard has inferred as much, but they've never come right out and said, hey guys, we're working on Classic Plus. So if you want to do Classic Plus, be patient because we're working on it. We promise. They've never actually done that. They drop little hints. They have these cute little tweets that they put out or whatever. And this is just another one of those. And I'm really hoping that we don't end up with 1,000 teases on the way to BlizzCon 2026. I don't want to wait that long before at least some kind of news, some kind of announcement. So anyway, yeah, if you want to check out the 2025 yearbook, you can see that on the Blizzard site. I will have the link to the show in the show notes to the yearbook. So it's a fun little read. You can just browse through and check out the numbers. Nothing extraordinary. And honestly, it's not even very World of Warcraft focused. So if that's what you're looking for, World of Warcraft information, there's not a whole lot on there. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. By all accounts, and this because there was some interviews with Johanna Ferries, who is the president of Blizzard, where she was talking about how 2026 is going to be the biggest year for Blizzard yet. By all accounts, she's a great president, and everyone likes her. And she's really motivating the teams to do great work. So we'll see how that goes. If it's just good media spin or if people are actually happy, I don't know. But from what I've seen, it sounds like she's doing a pretty good job. So, and she's not one of those out there trying to get attention. Some of some of the Blizzard people, the higher ups, they want a little bit more attention, and that's fine. But yeah, she seems like she's doing a great job. So hopefully that's the case. You want somebody running your company who understands the product, but also understands the business side of it. You need to have a balance between the two, and that's a really tough bill to fill. Have somebody who can hit both of those things in balance, and it sounds like she's doing that. So there you go. Good job. All right, let's move on. We have in Modern World of Warcraft. This is pretty much just all midnight news. So the midnight pre-patch will release on January 20th. That will give us a 6-week period of pre-patch. 5.5 weeks if you get the early access, but it's basically 6 weeks of pre-patch, and then we'll get midnight. So I'm assuming that that's going to give us enough time to play with our UIs and without add-ons. It's going to be weird doing the old raids without add-ons, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything is buttoned up, and that's less than a month from now. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see how that plays out. But yeah, January 20th is the new will be the new stuff. So that's going to include the new Demon Hunter specialization, Devourer. You can have Void Elf Demon Hunters, which will be really cool. I'm planning to make a Void Elf Devourer Demon Hunter myself. So, I'm going to go with what works, right? That makes sense to me. I already have 2 Night Elf Demon Hunters, so why make anything but a Void Elf? I'm not going to make a Blood Elf, that's for sure. The combat design, class combat design updates. So basically they're pruning down some of the spells and some of the talents to make it easier to play the game. And it's not like they're dumbing down the game to classic, right? Or it's just one button and you're waiting for your auto attacking the whole. You actually do have to do a lot of things. They're just trying to clean up some of these more complex rotations that don't really feel intuitive without add-ons. If you feel like you need to make a weak aura to make your rotation work, it's probably going to change in midnight. So just, be ready for that, because there won't be weak auras starting on January 20th. That's the day weak auras goes away. There's going to be a stat and item squish. So I think we're going to go down to like item level 200 something, which will be really good because, once you start getting up into the 600s, 700s, it gets frustrating. I don't want to have an item level 1000 thing. That's annoying, but dropping it back down every couple of expansions, I think that's good. Maybe if you do an item level squish every 2 expansions and then a level squish every 4 expansions, that's probably what they're going to end up doing, honestly. Because we're going to be going to level 90 in midnight and then level 100 in the last Titan. So, I feel like that's probably after the last Titan is probably a good time to do a level squish. So, but we'll see. That's for the future. The user interface updates. So there's going to be a lot of user interface updates. Like I said, add-ons are going away, or not all add-ons. Combat add-ons will not function in the same manner as they do currently. So as of right now, combat add-ons can read certain things from the chat log and present certain information based off of that, or based off of different spells being cast or different things that are happening in the environment. None of that will work in midnight. You basically have to, Blizzard will be providing a combat helper, essentially like a deadly boss mods, and they have kind of a pseudo weak auras type thing. So the add-ons will be able to take that information and present it in a certain way to make it look differently, but they can't interpret the information themselves. All they can do is report what Blizzard. It's like doing a retweet. You can retweet all you want, but you can't take that tweet and use it to craft a new tweet that's something completely new. You won't be able to do that. So, yeah, there you go. We'll see how it goes. I did the whole add-on apocalypse episode, and it was partially tongue-in-cheek, but it was also partially, yeah, this is going to happen. So, a lot of add-ons are going to have some trouble, I'm sure, that first week. But by the end of the pre-patch, we should know what we have add-on-wise going into midnight. So we'll see. Transmog update. So the new transmog system will be in place. We will do a little bit more about that. I'd like to highlight that a little bit more clearly so everybody knows what's going on. So, but but it's basically instead of transmogging your gear, you're going to transmog your item slots. So if you transmog your glove slot, any gloves you put on will get the transmogged appearance. That's the basics of it, but there's a lot more nuance to it, and you can save appearances to apply in certain circumstances, like when you get on your mount or when you go into your house or things like that. So, I mean, it's a good update. I really like the new transmog system. I've played around with it on the beta, and it's really good. So that one will be fun. The new PvP training grounds will be in place. So it's a place where you can go and basically practice PvP without having to be in an actual PvP environment. So I think that's really good. Housing early access is they listed on here, but it's already available. So I don't know why they put that on there. Maybe that's just a relic from a previous version of this document. I don't know, but they did say housing early access. So the pre-expansion event is going to take place. And I have not even looked at that at all. So I'll do a little bit digging about that. And we'll get to that at some point as we get closer to the pre-patch. And then finally, the Winds of Mysterious Fortune will return. So you can level up your alts and have everybody just ready and sparkling ready to go for midnight. All right. A couple other things about midnight before we get into the main topic. Night Elf and Blood Elf themed house for player housing have been available on the beta. So you can get a Night Elf or a Sindori themed house for your character on the outside. And they look cool. I am curious to see how this plays out in the different neighborhoods, but yeah, it's fine. I don't have a problem. See, here's the thing that I don't like. Blizzard slow releases this type of thing, right? So here's housing, and we get like this really sparse implementation. And then they go, oh, here's some new things. Here, you can make it a little bit better. Oh, here, we're going to give you a different style of house. It's like, I already made my house. I've already decorated the outside. It's perfect the way I like it. If I have to change the size and shape of my house, it's going to screw everything up. And we even saw that there's going to be larger housing sizes on the beta. So they data mined housing level 7. You're going to get 10 additional room placement points and 500 decor points. At level 8, you can have a medium-sized housing exterior, which means your house is just bigger on the outside. And then level 9 will be an additional 10 points and an additional 500 budget. So, I mean, that's good. But once you've set your house up and you're like, I'm good, and then you level it up, it's like, I've got to redo this whole wing of the house because I have 10 more budget to play with here. So I feel like this is a little frustrating because people are creating these works of art out there, and they essentially have to have the foresight to know I better build this in a way that I can expand, and not everyone can do that. So, because we don't even know how the expansions are going to go. How is the housing going to flow over the next, year or two? Things are going to change. So I really just hope that Blizzard gives us the way to export rooms and export housing. So that I can say, all right, this room is done. Let me save it and export it out. That way, if I need to, I can delete everything. And then when I put it all back together, I can put that room back exactly the way it was. That's what we need so that I don't have to worry about these sorts of things anymore. And the outside too. I need to be able to snapshot the outside and say, okay, save that as is. All right, let's do this. Move things around. Anyway. And the final thing on the beta is that mailboxes will now function in player housing. So there's some mailboxes you can craft, and I think there's a couple of other ways to get mailboxes, but I know you can craft them. They'll work as mailboxes, which is great for people who don't have a Brutosaur, because if you don't have a Brutosaur, you have to go all the way back to town to check your mail. It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's not like it's horrible, but it's kind of annoying. So, yeah, if you want mail right outside your house, like a normal person, you can do that. I have a Brutosaur, so I'm not saying that I flew around for 2 minutes looking for the mailbox and then realized, oh, wait, I have a Brutosaur. I'm not saying I did that, but if someone were to do that, this would help them because it would be right outside your house. Okay. All right. Let's move on to this week in World of Warcraft. The bonus event, we have 3 bonus events this week. The first is the Delves bonus event. You get the buff, the Sign of the Explorer, Delver's Journey Progress, Companion Experience, and Undercoins increased by 25%, which is not very much. You can pick up the quest A Call to Delves from Archivist for Thrune in Dornegal to complete 5 Delves in Khazalgar, and you'll be rewarded with a Champion Track Delve item. Woo! And then the Turbulent Time Ways continues. This is week 4. This is Legion Time Walking, so you'll get the Sign of the Legion buff. Legion reputation gains from combat and quest increased by 50%. You can get the quest A Fell Path Through Time from Archivist for Thrune in Dornegal to defeat 5 time walking dungeons, and you will be rewarded with a Hero Track raid item. So that's pretty nice. Plus, you can increase the number of stacks on your buff. So if you have been doing it every week, this will be week 4. So you should have 4 stacks, which means next week you'll get your mounts. I've only done 1 week because I have not completed the entirety except one time. So screw me, I guess. The dungeons available are Blackrook Hold, Court of Stars, Darkheart Thicket, Eye of Ashara, Neltharian's Lair, and Vault of the Wardens, which should just burn in hell. Right. And then finally, we have the Pet Battle bonus event. You will get the Sign of the Critter buff. Pet Battle experience gains increased by 100%. You can pick up the quest The Very Best from Archivist for Thrune in Dornegal. Archivist for Thrune is going to be really busy this week. To defeat 5 players through the Find Battle with a team of level 25 pets, and you'll be rewarded with 1 Ultimate Battle Training Stone, which will allow you to boost 1 pet to level 25, which is not a great reward, but whatever. The PvP brawl for the week is Arathi Blizzard. Put away your bathing suit, pull out your parka, and enter a winter wonderland as the Arathi Basin you know and love gets a fresh coat of ice and snow. You'll be racing your way between the farm, stables, mine, lumberyard, and blacksmith through piles of snow and over a mostly frozen lake. One more thing, the weather forecast calls for a bit of fog of war. We hope you're prepared for the winter. I love this. The description for this one's so great. This is like one of the OG brawls. I love Arathi Basin. It's probably my favorite battleground, although I get so frustrated with it because nobody knows how to do it correctly. But anyway, it's one of my favorite battlegrounds. And so having a brawl that kind of mixes it up is fun. And I really like the way that they do this. They change the whole strategy of it. You can't sit up on the lumber mill and watch things anymore. You've got to actually go down and fight. You can run across the lake. It's really cool. I like this one. This one's good. When you zone in, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP brawl, and you will be rewarded with Conquest Honor and Marks of Honor. And finally, the Feast of Winter Vale continues. Great Father Winter is visiting the cities of Ironforge and Orgrimmar, courtesy of Smokywood Pastures, and throughout Azeroth, it is the season to be jolly. This will go until January 2nd. On Christmas Day, the 25th, we will get our present. We don't know what it is yet. We have heard nothing from Blizzard about what it's going to be, so we will find out on the 25th. So go open your presents under the tree and get whatever the new thing is. Always something new. And then you also, if you continue to open presents on different characters and over subsequent days, you have a chance to get previous year's gifts that you have not received yet. So definitely go check that out and partake in the festivities because it's fun. Damn it. And that's it. Yeah. That's all we got. Sometimes when I do this and I go through everything and it's like, okay, that's all. Now what do I do? So like I said, I'm going to start a new segment, and I hope it works out. I do not have the theme song or intro for that yet, but I'm still working on that. Yeah, here we go.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
We all play World of Warcraft differently. Some of us chase cutting edge. Some push keystones. Some players build communities through streaming, podcasting, or just log in to relax. But underneath all of that is one question that we don't ask often enough. Why do you game? In this segment, I will talk with WoW players about what drives them, what makes them start, and what keeps them going, and what WoW means in their life today. Because Behind every character is a story. This is Why Do You Game? All right, everyone. I am here with Greybeard. He is a longtime listener of the show, longtime Patreon member. And today we're going to talk to him about his journey back to Azeroth as a returning World of Warcraft player and just a good guy in general. Welcome to the show, Greybeard.
Thank you for having me. Good to be back, sort of.
Yeah. We tried to do this back in November, and that was one of the worst interviews I've ever had because your audio was completely gone. So it was just me talking to you with no audio. So that was not a good time. But anyway, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you on here. And,
it's good to be here.
Hopefully we can get a better round two of this interview. So I've been wanting to start this segment for a long time, and I hadn't really been able to do any planning for it, and it's kind of one of those pie in the sky things. But I think this is going to be the inaugural edition of Why Do You Game? And the idea behind it is I want to talk to gamers about why they game and why they do the things that they do. If you do a podcast, why do you podcast? If you're a streamer, why do you stream? And all of these different things, and try to get a little bit of insight into not just what people do, but why they do it. So you are my guinea pig in this, and we'll see how it goes. All right. So I always like, anytime I talk to somebody about WoW, anytime I do an interview for the show, I like to start off with, give me your WoW origin story. How did you get involved in the game? What got you going with World of Warcraft?
So, like a lot of people of our age bracket, like I played Dungeons and Dragons in high school and college, and then you become a young professional, and your friends are kind of here, there, and everywhere, and a couple get married and move away or whatever, and then you can't really play as much as you wanted to, or you used to be able to. You know, when you were younger, you had all the time in the world, but you didn't have the money to like get all the things you wanted. And then as you get older, you have the money, the disposable income to kind of play the games, but you don't have the time because of, life constraints or whatever. So it's like the conundrum of gamers. And then I had heard about World of Warcraft, and I played video games and everything, and had an Xbox. But I didn't have a PC at the time. But then I put together a PC using like the top stuff from like the last, like a year ago, which was all on like, sale. So like a year ago, it would have been like a huge, money sink for a PC, but it was like, well, this stuff's still going to run World of Warcraft, so I'll just buy like the year-old model of everything, and made the computer, and then, downloaded the game and everything. And I started playing, and originally I was going to play in the Horde, because like I did this trip back into Azeroth, I listened to a bunch of podcasts. So at the time it was like The Instance with Scott Johnson, and I think it was World of Warcraft with Star Mike and Renata. So I like listened to all like what they were going on. So I was like kind of like planning like how I wanted to play. And I wanted to play with Scott Johnson's guild, but they, at the time, this is like Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King's kind of been announced, but hasn't come out yet. So I went to like, made my Horde character on their server, whatever it was at the time, and they were full. They had like 1,200 members. Like that's how big the podcast was. And then, but the week that I like finally got into Azeroth, their guest was Felicia Day. And she had that hit show on YouTube when YouTube was like in its infancy called The Guild. And it was basically like for people who don't know, it was like the camera would be like looking at the player for most of the shots, and they would be playing the game. They never called it Warcraft, they just called it the game. And so after like the first season or two, they had the official guild of the guild, which is Knights of Good on Sangumosh. And she was like, yeah, we still have plenty of like spots, so if anybody can't get into Alia Acta Est, and you don't mind playing Alliance because they're a Horde guild, like I was like, well, I could probably do that. So I'd watched the show too, and I was like, oh, I like the show. And so I just rolled up a human paladin, and that was like my first foray into the game and the guild. And it was just, but at that point, like, there was a time crunch because then they announced that like Wrath of the Lich King was coming out at a certain date and time, and back then like leveling took a while, so like I was just like trying to speed level as fast as I could so that when I could hit the ground running on day one of Wrath, and that's what I wound up doing. But I made like a ton of friends playing, you know, back then, like 2007, 2008. And then I think I stopped playing right after the next expansion, Cataclysm. Like I think when I logged back in over the summer, like I had some old quests and I just kind of like finished up those quest lines and like left them alone afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just like stopped playing like right around like 2009. So it was, I think I played like pretty regularly for like 2.5, maybe 3 years or something like that. And then I just didn't play for a while, and then just, I kind of missed it. And I work kind of opposite schedules from my wife. So I kind of have not a lot of downtime on my off days, but I have a fair amount of off time on my off days. So, you know, I do what I need to do around here, and then like, you know, I can log in for a few hours here and there and just like play escape. That's why I play. It's like just to get away from like normal life, because like when I'm in World of Warcraft, it's like pretty much everything else goes away unless it's like, oh, go kill like 10 rats or whatever. Then I'll listen to a podcast or an audiobook. But It's just, for me, it's like you're somewhere else, you know, your brain is like not worried about like work or whatever's going on in life. And then you just get to kind of like escape into this like beautiful landscape. And I listen to the music. I actually read the lore for the most part, or I get the Cliffs Notes at least. And so I kind of have an idea. And then if I'm ever lost, I mean, Google's always your friend. So I just have been playing back pretty regularly since about beginning of August.
Okay.
And I made sure that like I knew I wanted to play my Paladin again, but I kind of wanted to like leave him alone for a while to get refamiliarized. So I just rolled up a rogue, never played it, did like the whole Exiles Reached, did Dragonflight, and then after about a month when I felt comfortable being back in the game, that's when I like made the switch back to my Paladin. And it's just like I'm a WoW monogamous. Like that's all I play is just him. Like I don't have 65 alts. I don't know how some of you guys do it, but like I just don't. Like it's just like I just want to play him, and I like the way it works, and I like being a protection paladin, and I like being a tank, and I just like to run around and like herd everybody up, and then just drop consecrate and just start like grinding everybody down, and then like all the achievements are like mine. You know what I mean? Like that on that one guy. So
yeah,
that's just the way I play. I've had a blast since I've been back.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I just made a hunter alt the other day in Remix. So
I can't do it.
Yeah, and I just started a new druid too. So druids.
I don't know how you guys do it.
So, yeah.
I really don't. Like I listen to you, and I listen to Solo Q, and he's got like I have like 600 alts, and I'm like, how do you have the time? Like I just want to like get this stuff done once, and then like go do stuff that I missed. You know, and
well,
like it's just
he's
like
maxed on his account. I have 2 accounts, and I've probably got about 40 on each account. So you know,
I don't know how you do it.
I have plenty of room to grow.
Kudos to you. I just don't know how you do it. Like that's just not me. That's
Yeah,
but I mean that's kind of the beauty of the game. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the beauty of the game, though.
Yep.
Is like you play your way, I play mine.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, though, and you said something that made me think of this. When people talk about World of Warcraft in so many of these different contexts, oh, Mythic Plus is bad, or oh, rating is this, or add-ons, and all of these different components. And sometimes people forget that at its core, World of Warcraft is an RPG. It's an RPG first, and then you add in all the other components, the people, and all the other stuff. But people forget that this is an RPG. You're supposed to go and lose yourself into this character and just have an adventure and have fun. Right. So,
well, I mean, that's the whole thing with like D&D. Like, if you can't, if you moved away. Like, I moved 11 years ago this month. I moved from Massachusetts, where I grew up, and was living for most of my life, to I live down in Louisiana now. So like I can't get together with buddies and play anything. Like I'm 1,600 miles away. But on my time, if it's 2 a.m, or after I get my kid to school on an off day, or like the wife's working late and I just want to go in and like knock out a couple delves, or jump in and do a raid, or like, hey, you know what, I never did that that dungeon from Wrath. Like, I can just log in and just go one shot, whatever, because I'm level 80 with, 700 and whatever gear, and just go in and just like lay waste to everything. And I was just like, all right, I'm good, log off, and then come back whenever I have time again. So it's great. You can do it on your own time. Like, but the game is it's so not old, but I mean, it's been around for so long, and there's so much to do that you can do whatever it is that you want to do on your own time, schedule. So long as you're not just like, if you're one of these guys who's been around forever and, has to keep up with the new hotness, like that's not me. I just don't have the time. But I mean, if that's you, then good for you. But I mean, there's been like maybe 1 week where I'm just like, oh, this is like kind of a grind. And I just actually thought of that before we signed on to talk. I just did the pre-midnight quest line like this morning. Like I knocked it out pretty quickly. And now I'm just like, all right, well, I'm kind of left to my own devices as far as content, wise, like story in the World Within, because I've pretty much done all of it for like the main stuff. So now it's like I can kind of do whatever it is I want to do as far as like go do old stuff or like try to get that one hidden quest to pop so I can go do that chain. But there's no, like, I don't have to do anything anymore for the rest of this expansion, which, I mean, it's like, we're talking a couple months, but still, like, I can go focus on some old stuff, which is nice, because I really was enjoying Battle for Azeroth. That's what I chose to do with my Paladin, because I got level squished from, like, 80 down to, like, 20, whatever. And it got to the point where I was just, like, not getting XP for mobs anymore. So I was like, all right, I guess I have to go and do the War Within. And then I got in and I was like, all right, this is fun. But I was having a really good time. So I left 2 quests in BFA. They're in my quest log. So I'll finally just start going back there and just start knocking that out and enjoying that story, which I thought was a lot smaller, but I've done some research. It's a lot bigger than I initially thought. So, I'll do it as I want to do it on my own time.
All right. So when you're playing, what is your preferred content? Like if you had all the time in the world, what would you be doing? Was it Mythic Plus, raids? What would you choose to do? PvP?
I would probably just do storyline content. Honestly,
okay.
Like I just, like you said, like at its core, World of Warcraft is really, it's an RPG.
Right.
There's a story there, right?
Yep.
So, like I used to have Lore Master, and then I went away, and like I still have the title. But I'm not like, if you look at the achievement, like the achievement's changed because there's so much that I've missed in my absence that like, right. I don't, you know what I mean? So like when I go to a zone, I stay in that zone until I get like the quest, like, oh, achievement, like you've done all these quests, whatever the 15 are, and you get like the achievement. And then It's like, okay, well, I've done all the stuff here. So now I can go to the next place and rinse and repeat. Like that's how I play. Like I stay in that zone and try to like get everything I need out of it so that I don't have any reason to come back unless it's like the quest, 2 zones over, or like, oh, you have to go back here and check in with this person and get this item, and then you can, or whatever, or there's like a new development. But other than that, like I'll stay in that zone until it's like done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I don't do mythics. Like I don't, I do delves, and I really like delves. Like the last time we talked, like you kind of laughed at me because I play a dwarf. I've always liked dwarfs. Whenever I play, fantasy games, it's always like humans or dwarfs for whatever reason. And it's funny because the only other game I really play is Blood Bowl, which is a Games Workshop board game. So it's like literally fantasy football. So like my dwarfs are going to play your elves. Right. And like you try to score a touchdown, but like you're beating the hell out of each other. And this next season with the new release, there's a team called the Old World Alliance, and it's humans and dwarves with 1 ogre and a couple of halflings. So it's like literally like all the fantasy races that are, good guys put together. And that's probably what I'm going to play starting in the summer because I have 1 season left with my original team. So I've just always kind of like played that. So I just like, I like Brand. Like, yeah, it's not, it's not Gouda if it's not smoked. Like, I laugh. Like, they're so cheesy.
I know.
And like, I giggle so and corny. It's like, don't stand there. Like, yeah, I know. Like, how about you get out of the way so I can unlock the chest?
Right.
Like, So like, but I love all that, and like I'll say it before he does, and then I laugh to myself when he finally says whatever it is he's going to say. And I have a few delves like kicking around that for whatever reason I just haven't done those specific ones to like, oh, you did all 4 at exclamation 9. Oh, you did all 4 over here at, you know, the Micronancer cave or whatever it's called. So like I try to like maximize all that stuff and get all of that done. Like, so I'm a completionist. Like I'm an achievement hunter, like within reason. Like I'm not going to like waste, you know, 3 months of my life trying to get like this one thing, you know, like if it pops up and I'm like, oh, I need that. Like I'll drop what I'm doing and go do it and like unlock it and boom. Which, funny story, the way I got level 80 the first time was I figured out mathematically like what I needed XP wise when I went to the one zone in Ice Crown Citadel that I hadn't been to. That was going to get me like Ice Crown Explorer, Northwind Explorer, World Explorer, and level 80 all at the same time. And I told everybody in the guild, like, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, there's no way you're not going to pull it off. And I was like, watch. So like there were bets in guild chat, like he's not going to do it. And I was like, finally, like announcement time, like I'm going, watch. And I just flew in, and my computer actually, like the screen kind of froze. So like I saw the 4 achievements, I got like the glitter and like blung. But like I didn't see him pop up. I just saw him go away, and I couldn't screenshot it quick enough. But then it was just like GG's, like everybody was like unbelievable, like in guild chat. So it was like, awesome. Yeah, I got 4 achievements to get level 80 the first time. Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff that makes World of Warcraft fun. That's not part of the game. That's not like a thing that Blizzard said, oh, here, you should go do this. It's hey, here's content that I made up for myself, and it was cool, and everyone thought it was cool. And that's the beauty of this game. That's why I love it so much.
It's just like there's something like my game might not necessarily be your game.
Right.
Like I hate PvP. I'm good. Like I don't know. Yeah. I'm fine. You want to go do it? Go. Mm-hmm. Have a ball. Yeah. I suck at it. Like I did it like back then, and it was just like kind of because you needed to do certain things. So I'd like just trudge along begrudgingly, and I was like, this sucks. But now it's like if I like to do delves, I do delves, or if I want to get all my weeklies done, I do that. Like whatever I can to like get through the. Like I was so glad when I was done in Tazabesh. I'm like, I didn't like the zone. It just took me out of the whole, you know, like medieval fantasy. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, here, you're going to go to this weird alien, like shattered planet place with like a Middle Eastern kind of bazaar with these people that are like energy people. Some of them look like robots, and other ones just like mummies with like blue or purple. And I'm just like, no, I'm like, but I was like, well, I'm here, and I kind of was like maxed out everything else. So I'm like, well, I kind of have to do this now. So I was so glad when I was just done with that. For the most part. You know, like, I have one thing left: the princess.
Oh yeah.
Have you beaten her?
I have not. I haven't even tried because I was like, doing the last one was the underpin. That was such a pain in the ass, and I said, you know what? I'm done. I don't care. I don't care.
I've tried. I've probably tried like 50 times, and like the one time I got her down to half, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I'm dead. What happened? Like what did I miss? Yeah. And then she'll show up at delves, and I could beat her there. But then I go over to just, you know, I'm like, I'll go see if I'm like my gear's better now. And then I'll go and she'll just like one-shot me. And I'm like, well, I guess not. Like, I read somewhere that only 2.7% of players have gotten the achievement of beating her solo. Which, hats off to them. But I don't think I'm going to make it 2.8. I just don't.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. I'll pass.
Maybe after I'm like level 90, I'll go back and then I'll wax her then.
Yeah,
just to be like, I got it.
Well, I find the whole... The end boss of delves, like the whole concept is really interesting because, you know, delves is obviously it's a more casual component, but then they put in this almost competitive aspect to it. I don't know if you've seen it in Midnight. They're going to be a Hall of Fame for delves, like the first 5,000 players or whatever, I forget what it is, to kill the final boss are going to get a special notation on the Blizzard website. And so they're creating a competitive aspect for delves that didn't exist previously. So we got to experience delves the first time in this expansion and go, okay, this is kind of a cool new feature. And now they're making they're gamifying it even further and going, okay, now there's competition in it, and which is cool. I just hope that we don't end up with timers and Mythic Plus type affixes in delves. I don't want that. I just want delves for me. I want to go and chill. And if I'm halfway through a delve and it's like, oh, I've got to go take my dogs out, I can just get up and leave my character there and walk away and come back 10 minutes later and he's still there waiting for me. I like that. Whereas in Mythic Plus, it's like, no, I'm dialed into this for the next 30 minutes. I have to be doing this or I will let all these people down. And I hate that feeling. So,
yeah. And because I play a tank and it's just like, if I've never done Mythic Plus, but I'm a tank walking in, like people expect me to have like been here and done this 87 times, and I haven't.
Oh yeah.
So I'll straight up tell people like, hey, never been here. Like with time walking dungeons, they'll be like, I put the map up so I can kind of follow along, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll ask like, is there some type of mechanic I need to be made aware of? I've never been here before.
Right.
And sometimes people will be like, ugh, or yeah, just like don't stand in, the purple goo or whatever it is. And I'll be like, oh, okay, that's not a problem. But as long as it's something like that, like there's no issues. But like you said, like I'm not like a top 1% like WoW player who's, like I'm not, it's like the bench is great. Like those things are awesome. It's just not like, that's not me. Like I'm a 47-year-old guy who plays WoW on his downtime for a hobby. Like it's not my like only thing that I do. Like I have a lot of other responsibilities. It's my relax time. Right. So I just shows like you and solo queue and Azeroth morning radio, that's like more my speed. It's like that's the type of player I am, which there's nothing wrong with that, because again the game's been around so long that you can play it this way, but if you want to play it the other way, then good for you. Hats off to you.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I agree, and I think it's really interesting. Like I was saying, there's so many components to WoW that I think some of these top end players forget about. The core of the game and the role playing, and they are actually frustrated when they have to do these role playing game type mechanics. Oh, I've got to go do quests and I have to do storyline. It's so annoying. Well, that's great, but I mean, it's like you have games like Fellowship, which is basically just a lobby game, Mythic Plus game. And they don't want that because there's no interaction, there's no social aspect, and that's what I think keeps people coming back to WoW. Is there is that social aspect, there is that component that we all want to be with each other and doing things. So I hear you, and I feel like the bench is a really good example, because I actually love listening to the bench because they're so funny, and sometimes you're listening and I'm yelling at the. Like if I'm in the car, I'm yelling at the radio. I'm like, you guys are so stupid. You don't get it. But, how can they? They live in a certain sphere, and players like us, we operate in a completely different world. So, yeah.
But I mean, that's on them to figure out, and that's not on me. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like you said, the social thing, like when I came back, I was like kind of playing alone, and I was like, hey, is my guild still? Oh, it is still here. But I like logged in, and my friend Gil, who is our GM now, I was like, what's the story? And he was like, hey, let's talk on the phone. So like we had like a 45-minute talk, and he kind of gave me like the whole, while you were away, the ups and downs. And we had this huge bloated roster of like 600 players, but you go in and most of them haven't logged in like 5 years or more, So he became the GM because our GM at the time like hadn't logged in like 5 months, and like he went through and I actually helped him. Like we audited the roster to find out like who's been in, and like there's a special section of people who used to be on the guild, like they're still in. We're not going to kick them out. You're the reason the guild started, so they're in their own special like bubble for on the roster. But like we got rid of 400 players that haven't logged in years. It's like, so, you have a new person, like if we were going to recruit you and you were like, wow, there's 600 members. And then you get in and there's literally like 4 people on at any given time. Like that's not a big guild. It's a small guild that looks like a big guild. So we had to like kind of not like kick, but I mean, we kind of had to kick a lot of people because it's like a lot of people didn't even have active WoW accounts anymore. So not only were they not playing, but they didn't even have an account anymore. So we pared that down. It took about 2 or 3 weeks, and then he made me an officer, and I'd been helping him with that. And we're hoping to get to the point in the new expansion where we do have like raid night, or we do have like, hey, let's go kill a world boss together. Like, 25 people sign up and we'll go do like whatever the new, world boss is. I'd like to go kill the old classic dragons again, just to like do it. Like that would be fun to get like everybody who's, hey, Friday night, if you're on whatever time, everybody log in, meet in Stormwind, we'll port over, and then we'll go kill that. You know what I mean? Just to like do something as like a social. I got a Discord channel for the guild, like it's a private Discord server for us. And, so that we can all kind of talk, and like there's an officer room and then there's like a general room. So if you just want to get on voice chat and BS while you're playing, you can do that too. And that way there, it's like if someone needs help, like, killing whatever boss, they can be like, hey, can anyone help me like do whatever? Yeah, sure. Like I have no problem if I'm just like, running around, getting lumber for my house. Yeah, I can go do that later. I'll stop and help you, and we can knock this out in 10 or 15 minutes. It's not an issue.
We'll get to housing in a little bit. Yeah. So, I was thinking about the guild that I was just in with in Classic and the anniversary servers, because they would do that where they would one of the officers would get on once a week. And they had a add-on that they used to manage the guild roster. Because in Classic, it's really difficult to manage stuff. Things don't work quite the same way. And so they would go through and it would have a threshold, like anybody who hasn't logged in X number of days. And it would just like have a massive kick. Just like all these people get removed from the guild because they're like, first of all, the guild is at like 700, 800, 900 members constantly. And so
that's crazy.
They're bringing people in. So if if you have people who haven't logged on for 45 days, you got to get them out so you can get somebody new in. So that's what they do. And it works. Yeah. They're able to keep fresh blood and get people rotating through. So yeah, they just finished up their last Nax raid of the year, and they're hunkering down for Burning Crusade. But yeah, it's like to manage that number of people, it's a chore. It's a lot of work. So
it took a couple hours a day for like 2 or 3 weeks to like go through and use, I think you used GRM. To like look at everything and just be like, join date. What are the notes? Like make sure that like the notes are right. Then you're finding like alts that are attributed to another alt, and then it's like attribute all these to the main. And it was just like there was so many because you had so many hands in the pie over the years with the notes. It's like some of it was like working in circles. So like I just threw on a podcast and did nothing but join dates for like a couple hours. Yeah. And I was in game like standing in Dornegal like I look like an idiot just standing there, but like that's what I was doing. And it's like, whatever. Like it was 2 hours well spent because it made everything that much easier to link the accounts and then have all the join dates. And so hopefully going forward, we'll see the fruits of that labor, because it's important if you're trying to make, a guild that at one point in time, like, back in PBC and Wrath, it was one of the biggest guilds in the game. Like for historical purposes, like the Knights of Good on Zangarmarsh were like, it was part of the fabric of what WoW used to be. So when I came back, it was like, I want to go back. Like that was my home,
So I had to look it up because I remember watching the show back in the day. But so the guild ran from July 2007 until January 2013. So it's basically from TBC to MOP is when the show was actually aired, 6 seasons. And I didn't know this, but Will Wheaton was on season 3. I forgot about that. He was actually the main
bad guy.
The bad guy,
of the other guild that they were beefing.
Yep. Yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, that's
I actually raided with I think it was Felicia and the guy who played Vork. And Sandeep, who played Zabu, and then there was a girl who played the roommate. I can't remember her name, but she was on there. Like, and most of the cast of the show played.
Right.
So it was like you could like log in and like it'd be like Bork would be like, "Hey, anyone want to go take down whatever?" And be like, "Sure," and like you go play, and I think it might be funny. I think that the guild might actually see an uptick in traffic because Felicia and Jeff, the guy who played Vork, just started a new podcast a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if maybe one of the things that they might do, like I have no knowledge, like I'm just spitballing, is that they'll start like playing again and just like, hey, let's go check out like what's going on with the guild. And they'll see like they're still in, you know. But I mean, who knows? Like it's just, for me, that'd be kind of cool. But like, I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of those relics of the early internet that just doesn't work anymore. You can't
People
get that.
Don't realize YouTube wasn't always like the behemoth that it is today. Like at first, YouTube there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was like there was a couple of web shows, and then you get a couple viral videos. Like one of the first viral videos on YouTube was Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, you know, that became a meme, and now he's an NPC in the game. Like I just saw him for the Caverns of Time.
Yeah,
the anniversary. Yep. Like I went and get his fried chicken. Like it was like then you cheer him or dance for him and you get an achievement. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. That's that's another achievement.
Well, you know, it's really interesting that you bring that up, because I remember watching a video about him where they were talking about, because back in the day there was no Twitch, there was no way to monetize your personality as a WoW player, and so he tried that guy actually tried to figure out some way to get, you know, keep his 50 minutes of fame going, but he couldn't use World of Warcraft as in his, you know, to try to make money, or Blizzard, or, you know, the characters or anything like that. So all he could do was try to use the name and the chicken line, and it was like it really couldn't do much with it.
Right.
But it's funny because nowadays you have something like that, and that person's on Twitch and they're doing stuff constantly. That's just a Twitch clip nowadays. So it's just a very different world that the internet was. It was the Wild Wild West.
Like 25. He probably would have had 25,000 new subs like overnight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then he would have been set. Like, I got my channels all good to go now. So
yeah, I remember back in the day we were talking about that, and people are like, "I think it was real. It was real, guys." And they go, "No, it was staged. It was staged." And, you know, like this whole debate in our guild back then about whether or not that was real or staged. It's like, of course it was staged, you idiots. Oh boy, the good old days.
At first, you know,
yeah.
And then you come to find out, it's like, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
You're like, oh, you don't actually have to run through all the egg sacs. Okay, so let's talk about your. So you took a break and you returned to WoW. What did you feel like coming back to WoW? Did the game feel different to you? Because obviously it's evolved since you stopped playing. What do you like about the game now? What do you not like about the way that the game plays, the way the game feels?
Well, immediately the thing that it was visual was the graphics was so much more improved. So that was like right off of the jump was just going to Exile's Reach with a brand new character, because I knew like I wanted to relearn the game and not use my paladin. And I was like, so just doing that, and just because I'd never played a rogue before, so going to Exile's Reach and then doing Dragonflight, just seeing, all the new things. And when I joined, it was literally at the end of July. Like, I think I might have installed on July 31st, and then like August 1st, it was like I hit this 2-week window where it was, they were doing this like, hey, rush XP, like catch up mechanic thing, and loot was literally falling from the sky. And I remember in Classic, it was like, you might have the same cloak for 9 levels. Like if it just didn't drop, it didn't drop. Like it didn't, like you were really like, you were struggling. Like, and then you'd finally get a cloak and you were like, yes, you know, and then at the end it was a little bit different, because then by then it was like, all right, I'm level 60. But even for me, it was like, I was just going straight to Burning Crusade anyway when I got done with Classic. And then it was like all the purples that I did have was like getting replaced with greens, like pretty much. And then it was kind of like when I got to Northrend, it was like, all right, it was kind of the same thing, but then it was like, that was it. Like that was the ceiling. So I had plenty of time to kind of like experience Classic as like an endgame player where it was like, all right, I could finally replace like purples with better purples. But for me, it was like at the beginning, it was so slow, and people don't remember if you weren't there. Like there were just some levels where you wouldn't get any gear. And it's like literally like 9 levels, and you still have like you're 29, and you have this like level 18 cloak, and you're like what the like. Can I get a cloak, please? Like, you know. But now it's just like there's so many mechanics and ways for you to get things, whether it's a drop or a chest or buy something with rep or resonance crystals or whatever the currency of the day is. Like there's so many more avenues to get gear and kind of not feel like you're kind of behind on the power creep,
right?
To the point where sometimes it almost feels a little too easy. In some ways, you know what I mean? Like I can remember like my first delve, I was like, wow, it's kind of, you know, they were like, oh, your gear score should be this. And then you won't like, you know, it'll be kind of easy. And then I was like, well, I could do like one more, you know? And I was kind of struggling because I would always go like a level higher because I was like, well, I kind of got the mechanics down. I know what I'm doing. I have my rotation down, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But there was a couple times where I'd get to the boss and I was like, I'd die like 2 or 3 times and I'd finally get him. So I was like, all right, well, it paid off. But back then, whew, boy, you couldn't do things like that. Like you really had to mind your P's and Q's because you could die real quick, you know, especially if you weren't playing in a group. And now it's more of a solo experience because like even when you're running through town, like there's not a whole lot of people talking. There's not a whole lot going on in trade chat. Like back then it was just like all kinds of silliness in trade chat. But you'd always be like, if you were out and about and you had to get Hogger and like you were in the area, people would be like, hey, you want to team up to help me take down Hogger? Sure, why not? Like my first time back, I was like, I killed him probably 8 times. Someone would be like, I need help. Sure, let's do it again. Why not? Like I was there, like why not? You know, so I wasted like another half hour like helping other people you know, take down Hogger. It was like that was what you did back then. Now it's like people just run through on their own, and if they get it, great. And if not, like you can just be like, just help them, you know? Like I was this morning actually, I was going through Elwyn and I was like, oh, I gotta get some lumber. So I was like just cutting stuff down, and I saw this like level whatever he was like fighting Hogger. Like, and I was like looked, and he was like kind of halfway down on his energy. So I'm a level 80. So I just like threw the frisbee of doom at Hogger and like one shot at him. You know, the guy he just dropped, and the guy was like, "Thank you." Like no problem, like no big deal. You know, my pleasure. You know, pay it forward if you can, and then just went about my business. You know. I like doing stuff like that. It's funny. It's fun, you know?
You know, I see, I would have gone the other route. I would have showed up, saw that person almost dead, and been like, here's a little heal. Bye. Let you figure it out for yourself. But I'll heal you, but I'm going to bounce.
No, I was like, just bam.
That's
good.
Cool.
It's fine.
That's good.
And and I didn't even take any loot. And I was like, whatever. I don't need
it's things that I think
or whatever.
Only WoW players really understand is that, you know, that camaraderie of some of these shared experiences, especially back in the early days.
Much now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's good. So we're going to segue though, because you said lumber.
If I could before you segue though.
Yeah. Sure.
And I know like your listeners are kind of like of like mind. And I've heard you, like I've listened to you in other older podcasts where you're like, you know, I kind of have trouble make new friends like when you're a little bit older and kind of like set in your ways. Yeah, but if you're out there and you can help somebody, why not help them? And then maybe you might make a new friend, you know what I mean? And like, so like, I hear you that it can be that way, and it's very kind of solo, and you're in your own little lane and you're doing your thing. But like, if you help someone, maybe they might help you later on, or like send you a friend request, and then you just made a friend, or maybe you need guildy or something like that. So you can still play modern WoW the classic way if you choose to. And it's kind of like be the change that you want to see type deal. I know it sounds really hokey and corny, but if you want to, you know, do that, you can. And if you don't think that there's enough of that in Azeroth, well, like, do it yourself. And then maybe like someone else will be like, well, that guy helped me, why don't I help this guy? And it can kind of have a cascading effect.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. It is the social aspect of the game. The game doesn't control whether or not we can interact with each other. That's up to us. So that's good. So, all right, let's before before I lose the thought, let's talk about housing for a second. So last time we talked, there was no housing yet. It was all still in the beta. Now we have housing. I've gone through and I set up my 2 houses. How are you taking to the system? What do you think about it? What are your thoughts on housing?
So that one of the reasons that we did hey, we kind of need to cull the people who aren't in the guild anymore was, are we going to do a guild neighborhood? And if so, like there's only 50 plots, right, in Founders Point. So it's like, do we even have 50 players that are kind of active? So it's like one of the things that we need to like think about and do. So when we were talking about it, there was like 5 of us talking about it. I was like, well, yeah, I'm in. Like, yeah, we should do like a guild neighborhood, and we named it Cheesy Beard Estates because Cheesy Beards was the restaurant from the guild, right? And like I just knew because I watched a couple videos, like where do you want to put your house, and like they gave you like a tour of all the different properties, and there's one in. I always get the 2 places confused. It's like it looks kind of fallish, but there's a lighthouse. Like, so if you look to the left, there's the big lighthouse is off in the distance. And then, like, you have, like, a little ramp that goes right to the ocean, and there's, like, otters and stuff. I was like, that's the one I want. I was like, I want whatever number it is. Like, that's me. Yeah. So that's the one I got, thankfully. I think it's, like, 36. So if anybody cares to look, when they go to Founders Point, go to plot 36. That's the one I picked. And I think it's cool because you're right there on the water. I put my house up. I haven't done a whole lot as far as, like, making like a second level, and I didn't like put it up in the air or anything. Like, but I made sure that I went back and killed a Nixia so that I could get the achievement, so I could put the head over my fireplace. Right. And it's totally a dwarven bachelor's pad. Like everything inside is like dwarf everything, or sturdy, whatever. I made sure I put my outhouse on like the property line. I got like the chicken coop. I got like, the well. I got the cheesy flamingo from Undermine who's out front. Like I had to have that because you have to have that, right? Like so like it's totally like a dwarven bachelor pad, and I'm like, it's not like I actually like live here. Like it's just stuff that makes me laugh is what I put up. Like what would my dwarf like have? So it's all like dwarf stuff, like and like that's pretty much it. I like it because it's like. I actually went through and did a daily and got a dark iron chandelier as like the one of the rewards. So I threw that up over the table. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so like I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy things to put in my house, but anything that's tied to an achievement of note, I will make sure is like up. Like that's how I'm gonna like do my house or like my property, Yeah. But like as far as like me coming out of pocket for like 100,000 gold to, get cobblestones and enough blueberry bushes and trees and stuff, like no, that's just not. Yeah. I don't care enough. But I mean, some people are really into it, and good for them. That's how they want to play. But like as far as the mechanic, I haven't had any issues. I go through, I do the daily. Like I'm like, oh, that's lame. Like I'm not going to use that. But like whatever. I know that eventually, if I do enough of them, I'll get some achievements. Oh, you did 25 of these. Great. Like hey, I get the little ding. Like that's what I'm about. So it'll all come out in the wash. Yeah. What about you? Do you like?
Oh, I love it. I'm having a blast. So. I started off and I was just putting up decorations. I put a painting there, put a lamp there, whatever. And then I started actually building things. And to me, that was where it got fun because it was like, this is no longer just about decorating. It's about how creative can I be within these controls, which I hate the UI for housing. It's awful. But you can still be really creative with it. And so building different things like I had I don't even know what it's called. It's like a little night elf bowl that has moon dust glowing from it. So I flipped it upside down, attached it to a beam, and put it across in the ceiling. Like made a whole contraption, so it's like a light coming down outside of my. I built like an outdoor patio, like a grill area, and so it's because you can't put lighting outside, but I could put that, and so I put that down, and so I created like my own little way of doing it. So to me, that's the fun. It's figuring out how to finagle the system to do something interesting. I don't really foresee myself hanging out in my house a whole bunch. It's more of the fun of just building it, and then it's like, all right, now I'm going to go do a delve. So I don't know. I don't know about you. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to like just be sitting on my sofa. Like, I sure hope somebody comes to visit. Like, that's not that's not how I play WoW. But it's fun. It's fun actually building the house and doing things. So.
Yeah, I just, whatever I get that's kind of cool, I'll throw up. Other than that, like, I wanted to make sure that, like, it was very thematic to, like, my guy.
Yeah.
So everything is, like, Ironforge, everything is rustic, everything is, like, oh, I killed this thing, I got this achievement, it's up. Mm-hmm. And that's, that's pretty much it. So
I think I find it really interesting that housing has struck such a chord with so many of the female players who, back when we started WoW, it was like there was a handful of women who played WoW, and that was it. And now there's so many, and so they have this content now that they're like, I'm going to build a house. We have a whole new breed of WoW YouTubers actually who are dedicated to housing, and most of them are women. Yeah, and I think it's great. So
there's one girl, I'm trying to think of her name. She's the one who gave like the tour of like, here are all like the areas, and like she gave you like, she sounded like a friggin' real estate agent.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like she was like a Azeroth real estate agent, and she was like, this is the tour of Founders Point. And I was like, all right, I'll watch this. Like, give me a couple good ideas where to like put my stuff. And it was like literally the last one in the video, and she was like, and then there's this one, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm in. That's the one I want right there. That's the one I want,
yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, that's the one I want. Okay, we're good. But as far as like being within walking distance of the shops, I'm like, whatever. Just get on your Griffin, and you're like, there you go, you're there. Takes you like 10 seconds. So but I've seen some crazy like memes, like people have made like robot houses, and just like, if that's what you want to do with your time, go for it. I would rather go like try to go get my next trinket or freaking piece of gear that I need to get for whatever. Like that's, but I mean, again, it's so big. It's such a vast game. It's like the way you want to play is the way you want to play, and that I think that really is like the draw for me now, for like especially new people. It's like, you did miss 22 years of content if you're brand new, never played it before, because maybe you're just like a college kid or whatever. But it's like, there's so much for you to do. It's like I'm almost jealous in a way, because it's like, oh, I remember when I did that like 20 years ago. But now for them, it's brand new, like, and they're probably like, have someone like me, you helping them to make it easier. And it's just like, you don't understand, like 20 years ago, this would have been like a 4-hour ordeal. Yep. Like we did it in 22 minutes. Like that's not the way it was, Yeah. Like I almost felt dirty going in and one shot in KT.
Right.
Like it was just like, it's like heroic achievement, loot that I'm just going to vendor, like whatever. But it was like, moving on, next thing that I didn't do back in the day that I can just like power through now. But I mean, for me, it's fun. I like giggle, because it's like, that would have never happened. Like would have been so hard.
Right. Well, I remember even back in the day running old raids, so like around Wrath of the Lich King time, trying to go back and run Molten Core. You actually had to work for it. It wasn't one-shotting. It was easy, but you actually had to put in effort and try.
Right.
So, now the way things are, I mean, I was doing, oh gosh, I forget which one it was. Sepulchre in Shadowlands, which was the last raid in Shadowlands. And you go in there and it's just like, all right, we're done. On Mythic. Right. And it's not even difficult anymore. So I don't know. It's weird. The scaling on the game is so crazy.
It feels weird. It feels really weird, like going in and just being like one shot, like, oh, I have to actually, what's the mechanic for this? Because I never played this expansion. Like you look it up and you're like, oh, all right, just do this, do that, and then do this, and then you're off to the races. Like once you get that one part beat, it's just easy.
Yeah. Oh, you have to move around the thing and avoid the. Okay, got it.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and it's basically, if there's a mechanic that's going to one shot you, because it'll do. It's percentage based. Okay, but otherwise, who cares? Let's talk about, because you and I have talked about this on back and forth through DMs, but let's talk about your gaming rig. So I remember you bought a new computer for coming back to WoW. So talk to me about that, about the process of that, because I haven't built a new computer in ages. I've just been buying them.
So what I did was I have a kid that I work with, and I say kid because I'm 20 years older than him, and he used to play WoW like religiously when he was in like middle school, high school, and I was just like, all right, so say I wanted to play, like, what would you recommend? So he like put together a shopping list, and he was like, so it'd be like whatever X, like we'll just say like $2,500, or you could just go on one of these websites and buy it, and they'll ship it. So one of the ones that he told me about was Corsair. So I was like, all right. So I just went on and looked, and Starforge was the other one. That's the one that Asmongold like is part owner or pimps or whatever. And it was easier for me to just go on Corsair and just be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna, like I don't need top of the line, but like middle tier is, plenty good. So that's what I did. I just went and got like the middle tier Corsair or whatever it was. It was shipped within like 2 days. And then I got this ridiculous monitor that's like, that's what you're seeing as the light is the monitor I have. It's like curved. And I bought a second monitor in case I do wind up streaming. Because I thought about like coming back and like streaming, like, hey, what's it like to be like a WoW player coming back after a huge absence? But I thought better of it because, at least for right now anyway, to be able to do that, you have to have somewhat of a regular like schedule. And I just don't, because of everything I have going on in life with being like a husband and a father and full-time employed with a weird like schedule. To make that successful, I know that it would take more time and effort than I'm willing to like put forth. So for right now, I just have everything parked, and if things change in my life and I decide that that's something that I'm going to have enough time to go do, I will. But for right now, WoW is just like my 2 to 4 hours ish. Sometimes it's a little bit more on a day off. Don't tell my wife. Not that she's going to see this. But it's like my way to just kind of like unplug from the world and just be my escape, And there'll be some days where it's like I want to go kill 10 rats and not have to talk to whoever just popped into the chat about like, what's going on and be engaging. I can just kind of shut my brain off. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's just for me right now. That's the way it's going to be. But for everybody else, like, sometimes some people just put out like a weekly podcast like you, and that's great. Because it gives me something to listen to on a commute, or when I'm running around killing 10 rats and don't have to really pay attention to lore. Like earlier today I had to pause you, and like take the earbuds out and be like, oh, what? Do you have a cinematic I have to like pay attention to, like to find out what's going on? Like, so like that's the way I'm doing it. But yeah, I just went on Corsair because I think Tali the Tank was the one who kind of pushed me over the edge. And I use like his coupon code, and I've had not a problem yet. I do have to update my BIOS before midnight comes out, which is kind of funny because I'm like, I just bought this thing like 4 months ago, and I already have to like do this before midnight, or else I might have issues. So I'm gonna so I'll do that when appropriate, and then just I got a USB speaker bar. Because I have a headset too. Like I got a headset at first, and that's what I was using. And then Amazon was running on a Prime deal, like this USB soundbar for like 80% off. So I was just like, well, it's like $20. So I just bought that, and like it's easy. And that was it. It's for like less than $3,000. I have something that's gonna last me for years, and I keep a look at CPU usage and everything, because basically all that I do on this thing is play WoW. Like I don't surf the web. I don't like, it's just like the WoW machine. And I think like in the middle of like Manaforge Omega, I was using like 8% of my CPU.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Like I have no, like, there's nothing I might, blow a graphics card or something somewhere down the line, but if I do, then I just call my buddy from work and give him a 6-pack and he'll fix it. So so that's what I did.
Just come out with a 24 compressed air and just blow it out.
Yeah. And then like they have like 24-hour tech support. So if there's an issue, like you can just email them or call them, and they'll kind of like walk you through stuff. So
that's cool.
For me, it was just easier.
It's good,
but it's been worth every penny.
That's good. Yeah, I'm really curious because I know a lot of people play WoW on a laptop. And I mean, it's fine. You play however you want to play, but I don't like the small screen. I need a big screen.
Right.
Like the one I have right now, it's a 27 inch, so it's not that big, but I'm been contemplating going bigger. My desk isn't big enough because I like to have two monitors. So I have a 27 inch and then I have a 24 inch right next to it. And so for me, that works. And then I can see the game and it's a good size. My old eyes can handle it. But yeah, people playing on these little tiny laptops, I'm like, how are you doing that? But to each their own.
For me, when I bought the desk for it, I made sure that it had like an upper deck. That way that I can put the big monitor up top and then the little monitor on the side right here.
Oh, okay.
And it's on like the L. That way they're like the two monitors aren't like in each other's way. And that's been the way
Perfect.
it's worked. Yeah, it's been
good.
perfect. Like the desk isn't that big. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's go on to and I talked to you about this last time, but I wanted to ask this question again because it's still in a weird state. So I do a lot of talking about the future of WoW, both modern WoW and classic. What are your thoughts on WoW, where we're currently in the middle of the World Soul Saga? We're about to hit the second chapter. Classic has gotten into Mist of Pandaria and seemingly stalled, although I don't know, Blizzard might decide to move on to Warlords of Draenor. I'm not sure. Where do you think WoW is going to be in 5 years? Where do you want it to be?
Hopefully it's putting out, the end of the World Soul Saga and then whatever comes next. Because I just feel like at this point, they don't have 6 million subs like they did back in Wrath, right? But they have enough that they're making money. Like I know they're making millions of dollars. Like they have to be to keep putting this content out. And for as much people as as many people as say like, oh well, subs are down or whatever. Yeah, maybe from the halcyon days of Wrath, but it's still like it. How many games have we heard about that are going to be the WoW killer that come and go?
Yeah.
Like, and they never do. No. It's people always come back to World of Warcraft.
That's right.
And I just think that it will continue to endure. It'll be coming up on 27 years or whatever it is. Like there's no reason for them to put out a World of Warcraft 2 and start everybody at zero. Because think about people who've been playing for forever or since the beginning. And now it's like, so I put all this time and money and hours into this game, and now you're basically going to take all those achievements and things away from me to start everybody from scratch. Like that would make no financial sense for them to do it. So that's why I don't think they'll do anything like that. To the point where when I came back to WoW, the one thing that I wanted when I was playing the original WoW, and I got this because I wanted to have it for and I showed this to you the last time.
Yep.
So this is from Tavern Craft. This is literally the mug from Brewfest, that you get from Core and Diabrew, that you wind up using as a weapon. And I found it. Yeah, this is the Tankard of Terror replica official from Tavern Craft and Blizzard, limited edition. And I made sure that and this thing, I'm not going to drink out of it. It's like a vase. Look at that. Like I can put flowers in this thing. That's
there you go.
It probably weighs at least 2 pounds. It's ceramic. I found it on eBay, and the guy we came to an agreement, and now it's mine, and it literally sits over here, and it's part of the motif of when I play in my little gaming space. But that's why the game's not going anywhere, is because people like me and you and whoever else is listening to this and other people who don't even know about this podcast, it's not just a video game, it's a hobby, it's a collectible, it's its own genre of card games and comic books and Funko Pops and all this stuff. So it's part of the pop culture zeitgeist. It's not going anywhere, where content-wise they'll put, I don't know. I mean, talk to Metzen, what comes after the World Soul Saga? That's where we're going to be, because they keep putting out these expansions every 2 years-ish. So in 5 years, you're probably going to have another 2 or 3 expansions that have come out, or that third one's going to be coming out, in a couple months after your deadline passes. and everybody will be doing ramp up work to get ready for that, whatever that is. And I heard we're going back to Northrend for the last Titan. I'm super excited about that. I want to see what that facelift looks like. And like, I know the last time we talked, like the thing about Cataclysm that killed me the most was they took out the freaking dam at Loch Modan.
Mm-hmm.
Like those dwarfs that had like the water coming out of their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
I was so devastated when that, because I love like all that whole dwarven motif. That's like I want my house in World of Warcraft to look like one of those round outposts that you can shoot guns out of.
Yes.
Like if you could give me that, like I that's like, you don't even have to, I don't have to mess with it. I don't have to put it in the chimney, nothing. Just give me one of those. I'll stick it right there on the coast and I'll be good to go. Like I'd be so happy. Like just give me that. Like I wanted a bonfire. Like that's not available. Like I wanted one of those bonfires that you throw for the Wicker Man celebration.
Oh,
like, just let me have one of those on my front lawn. Like I'll be good. I can put like chairs around it. Like that's what but like there's no Tanker to Terror. Like I've unlocked that thing 3 times in the game at least, like I should be able to have one of those and just put it on my table. I can't. Like, so there's things that they can do and things that they can put in the game that hopefully they will. But I mean, the game is so like just been around so long that there's like the sky's the limit as long as they want to do it,
Right.
As long as there's a need for it or a want and a market, they're going to wind up doing it.
Yeah. So actually, it's interesting you point that out. So I don't know if you ever did Warlords of Draenor, like if you went and built your garrison and all that. Okay. So in the garrison, there's actually an NPC that sells you a mug, like a wooden beer mug. And so I went and bought like 10 of them and I have them all over my house because, you got to have your drink, right? Like,
right.
So, yeah. So if you're bored one day and you want to get some beer mugs in your house, go do your garrison in Warlords of Draenor. Okay. Because I don't know when the NPC shows up because there's different phases for the garrison, but that's where you can get the beer mug. So
okay, cool.
I've been looking for wine glasses too, but there's no wine glasses in the game yet. So
you would think in Dalaran they would have
right.
Like, oh, you did the cheese plate mission 10 times. Like here's one. You know,
Dalaran, Silver Moon.
Right.
Yeah. So about there's been some discussion about the bringing Warcraft back to Earth. We're done with all the cosmic conflicts. No more World Soul Saga. Just go help the farmer lady kill 10 wolves in her farm, right? Mm-hmm. Taking WoW back to its roots, and not by doing a reset, but just by simplifying everything back down and saying, okay, the stakes are over and we're just doing simple normal adventures now, like the beginning of a D&D campaign instead of that end where everything is crazy and epic, right? When you first start off, you just go do normal stuff because you're trying to get a feel for your character and all these things. I'm hoping that that's the direction they choose to go, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're going to end up deciding.
I mean, I could be on board with that. I mean, what was that? My favorite flavor is ice cream and Rocky Road, and you guys want vanilla. You think you want vanilla, but you don't want vanilla.
Yeah.
And then, people got vanilla and they were excited. Like, I would be down for that. Like, whatever story they're going to tell, I'll pretty much be on board just to, like, try it. And if I don't like it, then I don't like it. And, like, maybe I just go away for a little while until the next, like, iteration comes out. Like, because people do that,
Yeah, they do.
But I have so much in the backlog that I could go do instead. Like I really never played Cataclysm. Like maybe I just go do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm in a unique position where it's like I pretty much do everything with one guy anyway. So I can go do all that low level stuff and just power through it if I want to, or maybe I do finally like make a alt that I actually play. And
try the horde.
Like, well, I have. I don't know about that. But don't put that evil on me. But maybe like instead of like using the level up XP boost, like I actually like use it and then use the guy that I use it with.
Right.
Like I'll just figure out the rotation and then just be like, all right, I think I got it down, and then just hit the button and then boom, I'm level 80, and then it's just like, well, I guess I could just put it on one-shot rotation and just like go do everything like that. So I mean, I have options, but I would be interested to see like go back to Goldshire, like, but like new content, you know what I mean? In Goldshire, that'd be kind of cool. Go back to like Loch Modan, go back to all those places, and maybe they fix all the stuff that the Cataclysm broke. Like maybe that's the story. There's like, you know, the dragons coming on, like now we're kind of rebuilding all these places to like make Azeroth what it once was before the Cataclysm. Like you're rebuilding the Cataclysm. That'd be cool. I'd be totally interested. You know, because then it's like you literally have an effect on the world itself, because it's like, yeah, I'm in this area and I'm rebuilding these things through these quest lines, and I'm allowing like, you know, these artisans to be able to like, you fight all the bad stuff in that area, and then the artisans can kind of move in and start working on their projects. And then like you know, as that storyline progresses, you actually get to see things being built and fixed. And then it's like, oh, that project's done. Now you move on to the next like area, and you help this area out so that like water can come back in and fill the lake back in, and now there's like fish, or maybe you have to like fly somewhere and deliver like new seed stock or whatever it is to like rebuild that area. Like, yeah, because then you literally see the fruits of your labor on the screen because you did that quest line to fix this problem. Like, that'd be cool. I'd be totally interested in that. Because then you're actually seeing the benefit and the payoff too.
Right.
That's like what the Biodome quest, as much as I really didn't like Koresh in that whole area, but like when you get to the Biodome and it was like, help us rebuild the Biodome, like when you were done with all that, like you saw all those things that you helped bring back.
Right. Like
just kind of flying around doing their thing. That was kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, they've done a good job with the payoff on some of these quests in recent years. There were a lot of quests that back in the old days that just ended, and there was no true ending to it. It was just like end, and that's it. And you're like, well, I want the payoff. I want the Hollywood ending for this to know what happened.
No, here's your orders. You have to go over 2 towns over and go
somewhere else.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. So. Yep. But yeah,
I like that idea.
I'm hopeful
if you're listening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All those Blizzard employees that listen to Azeroth United.
Right.
I'm hopeful, but I guess we'll see. All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap up the interview for us. I really appreciate the time again spending here with. It's really appreciate you being a good sport about it. And, I have always struggled with doing these online interviews, because from a technical standpoint, it's a lot of plate spinning, trying to figure all this stuff out. So it's I'm glad that we can actually get this in, and I'm eager for all of the listeners to hear this. So I hope you enjoyed it as well.
I did. I was surprised you didn't do the rapid fire questions.
Oh, I was actually I went through and I updated all of the notes, and when I got to the rapid fire part, I thought, oh, you know what, it's fine. We already answered all these questions, so yeah, there you go. Well, like I said, thank you again. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you around for a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. Your podcast was one of the reasons I came back to the game. So, awesome. Like I said, the first time, it was like, well, how do I want to play it? Like, what are these podcasts talking about? Like, what's going on? And, through all the information you've been like giving out, it's like, oh, all right. Yeah, that sounds like something I'm interested in. I want to go do that. So, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Because, it might not have a huge effect now, but what's to say that it doesn't in like a couple months or a year or two?
So, never know. And it's just for fun. I always say, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not trying to be the next Joe Rogan or anything. I'm doing this to have a good time. So that's it.
And that's all that matters.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
All right. No worries. Take care.
All right. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I really do appreciate it. It is always a pleasure and a privilege for me to get on this microphone and speak to you. I do have to say, it was a lot of fun having this interview with Greybeard. And I mean, this is the second time I've interviewed this guy. The first time I completely screwed up the audio. This time I only partially screwed up the audio. I'm getting better. Okay. But I hear all these interviews with with people like Azeroth Morning Radio or the Starting Zone, where the guys are like, oh yeah, I'm an audio engineer by trade, or I know all of this stuff already. It's like, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm learning all this stuff on the fly. So I apologize. I'm trying my best, but I'm bad at I'm bad at audio engineering. So anyway, I'm hoping you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And we'll be doing a lot more interviews here in the future. If you are enjoying the podcast and you would like to help us out, you could consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would really help out the distribution. And if you leave a review or a comment, I will read it on the air. And if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can reach me on Twitter. I am at Denethar on that platform, or you can reach me on Blue Sky at Denethar as well. Or you can ping me on Discord. If you want to join our Discord server, go to AzerothUnitedPod.com, join the Discord, and you can send me a message on there. I'm at Denethar on Discord too, but I think you have to be on the same server as me, or we have to have a joint server somewhere before you can send me a message. Anyway, regardless, you can reach out to me on Discord as well, AzerothUnitedPod.com. Join the Discord. A lot of things going on there, and it's a lot of fun. And there you go. The other way that you could help out if you are enjoying the show is you could consider joining our Patreon. We have 3 different tiers of patrons. We have our free tier, and then we have 2 tiers where people actually give their IRL money to help out with the production of the show. We have the $1 tier, which is our standard patron, and then we have our $3 tier, which is our friend of the show. And I'd like to thank our friend of the show right now. We have Judge Omni, Stuglife, Thelial, Greybeard. Thanks, Greybeard. Raven and Macus. Thank you all so much. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible. And I think that's it. So thank you again for listening. Remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And maybe they don't want to do Mythic Plus. Maybe they just want to do delves and do storyline quests, and that's okay. I honestly, I've been leaning that way myself. But you know what? We all can get along, and everybody plays this game differently. Everybody's got their own way of approaching World of Warcraft, and I think they're all perfect. So just be good to each other and smile and just be kind. All right. Take care. I love you all, and I'll see you in Azeroth.